Hello. Yes, you are welcome to the second stage of the training. It's really a pleasure to have you connected, and I want you to really take good note of everything we are teaching you here today, because we are not actually learning all this for ourselves alone. We are also learning it to be able to teach it to also for those that has you have teenagers in the house. You just need all this information to be able to handle situations when it arises, because vagina is an area a lot of health coach and a lot of people don't even talk about. Even in the family, no one goes there, and is a bit is a section that needs to be handled. I can remember when I was young, I had a terrible experience about my vagina with my mom, because I was living with my dad, being a police officer, and whenever she comes, she wants to know if anybody have touched my private part by using sponge to wash the place terribly, and it will be paining me, and I shouldn't move my body. I don't have to move that part of the body, because if I move it, it means somebody have touched me. But is there any way one can use sponge to scrub that part of the body and you won't feel pain? So these are terrible situations a lot of ladies go through, a lot of young girls go through, but they won't be able to express themselves, they won't be able to tell you what they are going through. And when they are not able to handle the situation, it keeps on, you keep growing with it. I usually have, marks which will eventually have leads to me having sore. And she would stay just for about 2 weeks and go back. Nobody to help me handle the situation, and I'll keep managing. But because that part of the body is a section that heals itself over time, especially for young girls. I usually overcome that scenario, but it's not a joke. And we need to have a proper understanding of how sensitive that part is so that we'll be able to handle it. You cannot know if anybody touches your young girl by scrubbing that part of the body. It's not meant to be scrubbed. You create sore, you create wound when you use a hard object on that section. And that is why we need proper understanding and training of what is expected so that we'll be able to handle it when it arises. So we are taking vagina odor right now. A lot of ladies have this issue lately. And the main cause is the main reason why you are having this issue has not yet been handled, there is no way you can fight it. Because if you use antibiotics from today to tomorrow and you are still not trying to understand, you've not got to the root cause of the issue, you'll realize that you keep having the problem over and over again without you knowing what is happening. So as I've earlier said, some will think it's Ogwaye, or maybe in your father's family something is happening there, or your mother's family somebody is attacking you there. It's not all about that. It's about having a proper understanding of what is happening, what is the root cause. So let's take vaginal odor. At different times of one's reproductive cycle, the vagina is expected to have different smells, and the unpleasant smell at a particular period in time shouldn't mean the vagina is infected or a sign of illness. I've mentioned that earlier. So the smell is expected to come, but it's not expected to be permanent. So at different time of one's reproductive cycle, you are expected to have one smell at this period and a pleasant one at this period. We are going to be getting to this section where I'll let you understand. If God wanted you to have a rosy smell in your vagina, He will have put a very beautiful smell there. But that place is not meant to be smelling like a rose. It's not expected to have a very pleasant smell. It doesn't, and it's not expected to have a terrible odor, especially the one that is consistent. But according to one's reproductive cycle, that place can have smell today and the smell stops by tomorrow, because your body is trying to go through a cycle, and when it's going through a cycle, anything can happen. But if the unpleasant smell is so much and is becoming an everyday thing, you know Now, leading to some people using perfume to cover the smell, then there should be a cause for alarm. You might have infection that needs to be treated. So, first thing is to go for a test to know the type of infection you have. So, when a smell comes at this period, maybe within a period of 1 or 2 days, and after that is gone, then there is no cause for alarm. But when the smell comes and it refuses to go, then something is happening. And we are going to be treating what can really lead to you having odor. What can be the root cause? We'll be getting there. So, the most common cause of unusual vaginal discharge is bacterial vaginosis, which can cause an unpleasant smell than you need then you need to treat yourself. So this bacterial vaginosis is the root cause of terrible smell that a lot of women have, and this is the most common type of vaginal issue that most people have. So when it becomes permanent, that the smell is not going, is smelling fishy, is smelling this, your men have intercourse with you, they won't want to have again because of the terrible odor, then you need to treat yourself. And the first thing is to go for a test. Which of these infection are you having? When you are able to identify, then you can also treat it. So that is how that about vaginal odor. Then the next thing is how to wash your vagina, because so many things, as I said earlier, are the root cause of what is happening lately to a lot of women. And we all grew up to understand that this is, you can do it anyhow, you can wash anyhow, you can do this anyhow. But no one is able to understand that these have been the problem or the root cause of the problem a lot of ladies are having, because nobody understands. And we thank God for the information age that we have. If not for information age, how will I have been able to have you here be under this training of understanding what is happening to you and how you can actually get it solved? So how do you wash? We have all been making the mistakes. I had made the mistake. I have made the mistake too. But because of different body metabolism, your body is different from mine. It might not react immediately. I might not have that issue immediately. But some people have a very terrible body. That immediately they go outside the usual, their body starts telling them immediately, and they start falling victim of terrible, vaginal odor and the rest. So how can you wash? It is best you avoid the following soap in washing your vagina. The type of soap you should avoid in washing your vagina is one, antiseptic. We usually have some write-ups online that people will send the message, and when we read, when I read it, I say, I will not wash. Why won't I wash that part of the body? Because when you don't wash it well, you feel that something is still missing in your body. But you can wash it without using antiseptic. So the second one is using gel. There are so many vaginal gel that is released into the market that people use in washing that place. Anything chemicalized is not meant to go to that section at all. Because I've earlier discussed that part has 2 bacteria. And by the time you use antiseptic gels and all these chemicalized products to kill the good bacteria, it eventually gives power to the bad one that overrides the good one and makes terrible odor to start coming out. The third one is perfumed soap. Anything perfume, anything nice aroma, that place doesn't need it. It doesn't. The fourth one is scented wipes or vaginal deodorants. I think one company did one sometimes that I had a lot of it even still hanging in my wardrobe today that my sister sent to me. When research have not gotten to that level, a lot of people fall victim of situations that are detrimental to their health. But we thank God that every day development and research is being done to make people understand why this is detrimental and why they shouldn't go ahead. But it's quite unfortunate that a lot of people fall victim of such situation and doesn't even get out of it. But for the love of God on us, we thank God that many of us that used such things then, we use soap for vagina, we use incense. There is even one spray that they were selling. Everyone was the one selling it then. to spray to your vagina to have a very nice aroma. That place is not really created to have such aroma. It's just a natural place that has its natural odor. So it is when it is going out of hand that you have totally killed the good bacteria that ought to give natural antibiotics to that section, or ought to fight the bad bacteria that can be of detriment to your health, that can be of detriment to your health, that won't start having a very terrible odor. But naturally, the place is nice and cool with the way it smells. So all these products I've mentioned, antiseptics, gel, perfume soap, scented wipes, and vaginal deodorants, these affect the healthy balance of the pH level of the vagina, and this leads to irritation and brownish discharge from the vagina instead of white. So when you've kept on using all these chemicalized products over time, you realize that your discharge will totally change from being whitish to brownish. So this is a signal. This is telling you that, look, you are already affecting the pH balance of your PP, of your private parts, and you need to call yourself back. So the vulva area, which is the area around the vagina, that is the area everybody sees, is the sex organ that everybody sees. That part is not really the vagina. Vagina itself is a tube-like form, as I explained earlier. But the vulva is the external part that everybody sees. So this vulva can be cleaned with a plain soap or unperfumed soap gently every day. If water is not enough for you, use a plain soap. We'll be discussing further the type of soap that you can use. So the internal part of the vagina cleans itself through the discharge. And that is why in one of my banners you saw that I said the vagina is a self-cleaning oven. The internal part releases discharge to clean itself. So those discharge is not always also nice for you to flush your internal part of your vagina. I don't know, it's called Dutch. We'll be getting there, the do's and the don'ts that you don't have to do to your vagina. The Dutch totally wipes away everything, but you don't have to wipe away everything. You can do an internal cleaning with your fingers by dipping your fingers in to just clean the areas, the where your fingers can reach. That won't totally clear away the discharge, because that discharge in that vagina also has the work it does. So flushing it means flushing away the good bacteria. So that secretion is a way of cleaning your vagina. It secretes the good bacteria, gives antibiotics, and the discharge helps to clean your vagina. So I always say this, I love the idea of Muslims that clean up every time they urinate. Is an indirect way of keeping your vulva clean and at all time, which is very good for vaginal health. If anyone has the opportunity to also do the same, is awesome. It's a way of washing your vulva all the time with water, not with any other thing, so that you won't have remnants of urine that stays there. You won't have remnants of that, you won't enhance the bad bacteria with your uncleanliness. So using water to clean up every time, any day, is very nice for your vaginal health. So you need to also avoid cleaning from the back to the front. This takes bacteria to the vagina and leads to initiation at all time. That is, it's irritation at all time, and this is not good for your vagina. So under how to wash your vagina, we have explained that here. You wash from the front to the back. Don't wash from back to the front. Some people that uses tissue, I don't know, some use tissue to wipe from front, from back to the front. No, take your tissue and wipe from front to the back. Don't do it from front, do it from the back. So these are ways to wash. Ensure you wash all the time after urinating. When you want to wipe, ensure you wipe from the front to the back. Don't take bacteria from the back into your vagina. It's very, very detrimental to your vaginal health. And when you want to wash, don't use antiseptic, don't use gel, don't use perfume soap, don't use scented wipes. and vaginal deodorants. None of this is good for your vagina, because it alters the pH balance of your vagina. That is, the pH balance is the balancing of both the good and the bad bacteria, so that one won't override the other, that leads to terrible odor that is being emitted from the vagina. So these are very, very important. Your vaginal health is basically your duty, and giving a proper teaching to your children on how to get this done also matters, because as they are just growing up, a lot of things we don't really put through to them, and they just do them by default. I also am already a mother of 3 grown-up children. Before I understand how I need to wash from front to the back, nobody taught me. I was just washing anyhow. But it's an elderly mother of mine, which is a very close friend. I was constantly having infection, and she told me that, how do I clean up? Because I'll just clean from the front. I didn't see it I didn't see any difference in it until I was told. So, and we can see it now. So it is very, very important. So speaking more on the scented wipes and vaginal deodorants, this isn't needed for your vagina. Honestly, if our creator wanted our vagina to have a smell like roses or lavender, he would have made the vagina like that. So washing with plain soap is what your vagina needs. If God wanted it to smell like lavender or like roses, he would have made that place to be like that. But he doesn't want us to now modify. Don't modify, because when you are modifying, you are altering some things that are expected to work normally at that section of the body. And as we are growing, entering menopause, all the things we do while we are young also matters. And we need to take good note of all this. So your vaginal odor arises when the vagina is already losing its pH balance. And we need to take note of that and ensure that we don't alter the balance of the pH. And the washing is done as explained earlier. And so let's note this, and we'll meet in the next training.